traders, Cousin coming to you from theclosingprint.com, April the 11th, 2021. In this edition of your weekend video newsletter, we'll review the markets. NASDAQ led last week. Most U.S. indices closed near highs, while Asian markets pulled back a bit, with big cap tech and growth really shining last week. That left the bond stock ratio bullish for equities. Junk and high yield corporate debt are neutral to bullish at the top of a range. Most of our indicators are bullish. We have 3 neutral and 2 bearish. While bonds are basing, commodities are bullish or consolidating. In the case of gold, trying to push a bit higher last week. Copper is consolidating, as are Brent and West Texas crude. The latter would be bullish if we could see a follow-through and a push higher this week. Heat maps finished very strong last week with leading sectors like tech and discretionary, financials and industrials, while energy lagged, while the international markets showed their sector heat map improving. We'll look at some IBD 50 names, stocks showing relative strength, as well as stocks with rising profit estimates in green, blue dot scan candidates in cyan, some CanSlim candidates, as well as some scans that we ran ourselves, in addition to the lilac color indicating ARK-K investments that Kathy's group bought last week. Bukowski has 5 of 5 green with a CPI signal bullish at 83.6%, 8 bearish patterns, 66 bullish patterns, and 519 patterns waiting for breakout. Bottom line, the markets finished at highs. We assumed that there would be a little bit of give back on Monday or Tuesday, so we'll wait till about 10:15 on Monday to reassess the markets, with support at 4,000 and resistance about 4150, given the large gamma positioning into April Opex. That is giving us a bullish tailwind for equities. The S&P 500 spiders flagged for 3 days going into Thursday, breaking out on a gap up. That gap that started the week, however, is an area where if we do pull back around 382 Fibonacci, that would be a gap fill right around 400. That's where support is currently, though I don't see that kind of weakness coming into the markets considering the large positive gamma tailwind we have into April Opex. We're trading at all-time highs, so there's really no volume up here as supply, no one to sell to us. Volume did increase on Friday, however, it wasn't as much as we saw the previous week. MACD is above its signal line and rising, and stochastic is embedded. Growth stocks continue to outperform. In the upper panel, we can see IGX versus IVX value as these continue to rise. However, in the lower panel, you can see value is also doing quite well, with industrials and financials outperforming last week. In addition to consumer discretionary, semiconductors and tech strength was quite remarkable, with the NASDAQ weekly closing just shy of all-time highs, at the highs of the range for the week, with small caps inside of a 10 to 12 week range, closing lower on the week. We did see wicks, however, all along this level around 220 to 215. So there are buyers there. Any loss of this zone signal a potential pullback. For now, we've seen consolidation for 10 weeks in these small cap oil and gas and small cap biotech stocks, looking for direction going into this seasonally strong month of April and earnings. That said, a review of larger indices that have big caps, mid caps, and small caps like the S&P 1500 or the New York Stock Exchange with 2,700 stocks, we can see that breadth is improving. higher lows and higher highs. We'd like to see a move above the peak that we saw on Monday last week. The New York Stock Exchange advanced decline is rising, making a new high. That's bullish. And we see more green elder sticks and one blue elder stick for the past week and a half. That's bullish with improving breadth. The bond stock ratio in the lower panel is bullish for equities as the red line drops. 65 period moving average rolling over like it did in 2016-17, which led to a 18th to 20-month rally with similar potential if that ratio continues to drop. Together with high yield corporate and junk bonds, which are also rallying to the highs of the recent range. With RSI above 50, that's bullish for equities. While investment grade bonds did rally for the last 3 weeks, in addition to the long end of the curve, we saw the 20-year bond also basing at a previous consolidation zone for the last 3 weeks. With RSI oversold, the potential for this to continue higher, so we'll keep an eye on the middle and the long end of the curve. For now, though, bonds and currencies, the US dollar pulling back below the 200-day moving average, still producing higher highs and higher lows, with no headwind at the present time for US equities. As commodities, copper in this case, flagging and consolidating recent gains over the last 6 weeks, with gold continuing its descending pattern. It did bounce off of a double bottom. Potential for it to move above the 200-day and the 50-day. So if that happens, look for a follow-through with a potential setup going into the summer months. Seasonally, one of the more weaker months of the year into August for the equity market. So if this starts to rally, it might be a good point to start hedging with gold. As we wait for crude oil and West Texas crude, currently in a 6 weeks pullback. The last 3 weeks we've been consolidating with buyers showing up near the lows of the week. A push higher would be bullish for equities. Sector heat maps improved last week with a little weakness in energy. We had financials, industrials, consumer discretionary, as well as communication sectors all rallying last week. And we have the international markets about the same, with some weakness in Southeast Asia. Therefore, unless something changes markedly, we would look for potentially a bounce in energy at the 50-day. Financials, however, industrials, technology, and consumer discretionary, in addition to the strength we saw in materials and communications, should continue this week going into Monday and Tuesday. All of the stocks on the watch list from the IBD 50, the stocks showing relative strength from the IBD, as well as companies that are showing rising profit estimates, and stocks from the Blue Dot Scan, in addition to CanSlim and ARK Investments, are all in this list this week. All of these look good. Looking for follow through. Apple, Amazon, Abercrombie and Fitch looking for a follow through. Nice volume on Friday. Digital Turbine looking for a push higher. Brunswick Corp, Sports Equipment, Builders First Source looking for a push off the 9 EMA, follow through. MACD above its signal line and rising. Bristol Myers Squibb looking for a bounce off the 9 and 21 day this week. RSI rising, volume increasing. MACD looking for a turn. Stochastics looking for that to turn higher as well. Boot Barn looking for a follow through. Consumer discretionary stocks doing well. This one looks like it's about to break out of a range. Volume increasing on Thursday and Friday, as well as on Tuesday. MACD has crossed and stochastics rising. Brucker Corp looking for a follow through. Push off the 9 EMA. Looks very strong. Volume suggests institutions have been picking up shares, about to break out of this base and start trending as RSI stays above 50. Anheuser-Busch and other stocks that tend to do well during the spring and summer months as we start our barbecues and outdoor get-togethers. People want to get together and shake a leg after being cooped up. Bud has a 9/21-day cross through the 50-day. I like this one a lot. Looking for a follow-through, a shot at 72 in the short term over the next several weeks. Additionally, with all these stocks, we have to be conscious of earnings. We're going in through earnings week, starting off with the banks this week, Thursday morning before the open. Bank of America starting off. Calix Networks looking for a follow-through. Nice looking setup, following through right near the value area, the 21-day. RSI is just pushing through 50. This one looks like it's got 50 written all over it, moving into an area of no overhead supply. MACD is about to cross on Monday, volume increasing, stochastics rising, telling you to look for closes in the upper half of the daily range, as we can see, as stochastics continues its path towards 80. Citizens Financial looking for banks to follow through this week as well. All depends on the bank's earnings. I'm not really interested in buying banks per se. If anything, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I'll be out of any banks by Thursday, looking for any kind of pullbacks or better entries on the financials once earnings get underway. Cullen Frost Bankers, MACD's turning, stochastics rising. CRM Salesforce, this looks really good, pushing through the 200-day and the 50-day last week, much like we saw with Microsoft and Walmart. Could see a little flag or a pullback. That would be absolutely best entry. However, I'm thinking that this is going to take off and start moving fast as these bargains keep getting scooped up from 52-week highs at these lows, currently providing a lot of value for people who managed to buy in the last couple of weeks. John Deere, Caterpillar, and other industrials did very well last week. The industrials, despite the weakness in Boeing, managed to push higher. The builders also look good. Check out your favorite builder. All of them are pushing off the 9 or the 21-day. Last week, following through, I bought some Beazer Homes for a quick scalp on Friday. I'll probably get back into it on Monday. All these builders look good. We got volume increasing, MACD above its signal line, RSI above 50. Danaher from previous watch list, looking for the follow-through. Nice push off of the 200-day through the 21-day and the 50-day, showing strength as institutions pick up shares. Quite obvious. MACD above its signal line and rising. Don't chase it. Look for a little intraday pullback first thing in the morning. Maybe we get a good entry on Danaher. Don't forget about earnings. DocuSign. ARC was picking up DocuSign last week. We're looking for a follow-through as well. MACD above its signal line. We've got RSI rising as MACD continues and stochastics rising as well. Volume increasing. The price moving through the 9 and 21-day. Headed for the 200 and the 50-day in the short term as targets and potential resistance. Domino's Pizza making it through the 200-day. Looking for a breakout. RSI rising. Volume increasing. MACD above its signal line. FedEx post earnings continues to put in higher highs and higher lows, looking for a breakout this week, along with UPS and Ryder, symbol R. Fidelity National looking for a breakout. Volume increasing Thursday, Friday, MACD cross, stochastics rising, RSI above 50 and rising. GFL Environmental, a lot of these stocks that will be affected by the Biden stimulus plan need to be considered. Trending, RSI rising, alternative energy names as well. Anything to do with the charging market, like Blink and ChargePoint, among others. All of those stocks in the EV sector being affected. We see a follow through in Google that looks strong here. Going into earnings, another stock in the builder group, Green Brick Partners. They have properties in Atlanta and Dallas. Nice bounce off the 9 EMA. Many of these home builders look very similar. The volume suggests institutions have been picking up lots of shares. Hillenbrand, nice little setup, just pushing off of the 21-day, the value area, where we like to buy once we see a follow-through. Could see a push higher on Monday, Tuesday. Watch for that. RSI rising, volume starting to increase, MACD about to cross, and stochastics moving higher. I really like this kind of setup when MACD is about to cross and stochastics continues to point the way. Price action very close to the 21-day. Your best value as it pushes higher stops at the low of the day of the opening range on Monday. At home, home security, looking for a follow through here. Push off the 21-day looks very strong into an area of no overhead supply or a lack of supply. RSI rising, volume increasing, showing institutions have been picking up shares. MACD turning, stochastics in an oversold state. That's telling us to look for more closes like we saw on Friday in the upper half of the daily range. By design, that's what stochastics is saying. HubSpot, internet related, looking for a follow through. MACD's crossed, volume increasing. HCNP, looking for a follow through in Horizon Therapeutics. Interactive Corp, nice ascending channel starting to break out, looking for a follow through. RSI rising. Volume increasing on Friday, showing institutions have been picking up shares. MACD has crossed, stochastics is rising. IDEX Laboratories, this company is in the business of veterinary sciences and produces products for that industry. Nice follow through. We can see sales and earnings continue to increase and funds continue to add as of the last quarter. Going into this quarter, we'll get some updated numbers. Iridium Communications, I believe this was an ARK Invest purchase on Friday. Looking for a follow through. I like it. Looking for a push above this resistance zone. RSI is rising. Look for volume to increase on Monday and Tuesday. Jefferies Financials, another stock we're looking for a follow through. Push off of the value area, the 21-day. RSI rising. MACD's turning, volume starting to increase. Stochastics is turning. Contour Brands breaking out last week. Volume increasing, showing institutions have been picking up shares. MACD cross. Casia Therapeutics, an Australian developer of pharmaceutical based on superbenzopyran and tropomyosin technology. This showed up on the blue dot scan, looking for a follow through. As shown on the weekly. L Brands, looking for a follow through here as well. Trending. Consumer discretionary doing well last week. Leidos Holdings from last week, I know Frano, I believe, is in this one. Looking for a follow through. RSI above 50 and rising. We got the 90-day cross on the 50-day. Should see a follow through in the short term. Volume starting to increase. MACD is above its signal line. LGIH, another builder, looking for a follow through, pushing off the 90-MA like all the rest. Logitech just above the 50-day, consolidating, looking for a follow through this week. MACD is above its signal line and pushing higher. Luluman, another stock that people haven't been talking much about. That's great because it's starting to move above the 50-day. I have a feeling this is going to start to outperform, similar to what we saw with Lockheed Martin about 5 weeks ago. As you can see, when people were buying Lockheed, Anton, among others, we got into this one as we saw the 9 and 21-day crossing price spending more of its time above that level. We were looking for the follow through. As you can see with Lulu, doing the same thing, about to push through the 50-day. Look for Lulu to outperform. Just check earnings. Mass, this is 908 devices. This is something that ARK also bought last week. Doesn't look bad. Buyers stepping up on Friday, looking for a push above the 50-day. This volume by price level looks like support for this IPO. Matson, another that looks like a nice follow through this week. Volume increasing. Price just above the 9, 21, and 50-day moving averages. RSI rising. MDC, looking for a follow through. Above the 90 MA and pushing off. MDC is also another home builder that's looking very strong, pushing off that 90 MA. Single family home builder, detached homes, first time move up buyers. We got nice sales and earnings and great IBD metrics with earnings about 18 days out. With earnings scheduled in about 18 trading days. With earnings scheduled in 18 days. Microsoft, looking for a flag. I don't know that we're going to get it. Very strong. Volume increasing. MACD above its signal line. Nari Medical, looking for a follow through this week. MACD crossed, volume increasing, stochastics rising, prices yet to catapult higher. Okta, I believe this one was on the ARK investments bought last week on Friday. Looking for a follow through, volume increasing, looking for a push above the 50-day, RSI leading the way. Quantis Services, PWR, looking for a follow through, volume showing institutions have been picking up shares. They generally don't pick up shares and just look for 2 or 3 points. This is probably going to just keep going. PayPal and the payment processors picked up a bid last week. Looking for a follow through here as well as Square, MasterCard, and Visa. Capital One, Discover Financial, and American Express, to name a few. Qualcomm above the 50-day. This was a start last week. Looking for a follow through. Move your stops higher as it progresses this week. 360 Finance, looking for a follow through. Push off the 21-day. Roblox, looking for a follow through for my son. He wanted to buy some of this week. RELL, another stock that manufactures components for microwave power grid and microwave tubes, generators, etc. for the 5G market. Looking for a follow through. This was on a blue dot scan as well last week. On Friday, looking for a push higher. Blue dot tells you to look for a breakout with relative strength making a new high. So we're looking for that breakout and a push towards 10 in the short term. As volume increased on Friday, a nice increase in earnings over the last 2 periods as 5G kicks in and benefits companies in this infrastructure space. RH, this operator of retail stores in 39 states and Canada, offering hardware, bathware, furniture, and lighting. High-end, breaking out. Looks like it's going to take out this flag consolidation pattern this week. MACD is above its signal line. Watch for more volume. Most recently reporting earnings beat. $3.72 versus $5.07. Not bad. Projected to earn more than $20 per share in 2022. Looking good going into 2021, even after the COVID pause in consumer spending. Sherwin-Williams looking for a follow-through as well, pushing off the 9 EMA. Snap, very nice setup. Maybe it pulls back a little bit to the 50-day. Would be a better entry if it bounces and follows through. Looking for a trade on Snap. Another ARK investment purchase on Friday. Looking for a follow-through here. Square, another swing setup like PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard. Capital One, among others. Volume showing institutions have been picking up shares. Thermo Fisher with a nice 9 and 21-day, 50-day cross coming. Looking for a follow-through this week. I'd expect to see Thermo Fisher up at 530 in the short term. Tempur-Pedic looking for this push off of the 21-day to follow through. TXG looking for a follow-through here as well. I think this was an ARK investment purchase on Friday. Texas Instruments showing up on scans. A nice little flag to the 9 EMA. Look for a follow-through on Monday. Ulta looking for a push off of this level. Opening pop-up stores in target locations throughout the country. That should add to sales and earnings. Looking for Ulta to move back up to 350 in the short term. Just check earnings. United Health bouncing on Friday, looking for a follow-through. And Upwork looking for a push above the 50-day. Workday, another candidate that looks like it's going to be a nice swing. Looking for a follow-through here as well. Just check earnings. While we look for Walmart to follow through as well with Target and other discount retailers. In addition to Yeti, looking for this breakout of a range and a push higher. And finally, Watchrook Online, looking for a follow-through of this India-based company that provides airline, bus, and rail ticket, hotel bookings, and holiday packages. On the blue dot scan this week, looking for a follow-through and a breakout to previous highs. Okay, traders, that's going to do it for me. This is Because of Any coming to you from theclosingprint.com this April the 11th, 2021 with your weekend video newsletter. Look for your watch list to come out later tonight via email around 11:30 on the East Coast, 8:30 on the West Coast. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao.